hell of a thing. New poll indicates Biden may actually win swing states. There's some nuances here and a caveat. So let's put up the picture full mass. Donald Trump has been boasting that he is leading in all swing states. As a matter of fact, he always provides more context. He says he's dominating, he's winning by a landslide, et cetera, et cetera. Well, there's a new poll that shows his numbers are not only slipping, but Biden has made up ground and leads in some of these swing states. So President Joe Biden is gaining on former President Donald Trump in key swing states, according to the new Bloomberg and Morning Consult poll. In previous iterations, this same survey that Republicans highlighted showed a measure of support and preference in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Trump continues to boast he's leading in every state. Now, I want to say this because I saw some pushback on the article about Georgia being a swing state. You cannot deny Georgia its swing state status. You can't do it. Georgia delivered 2 Democratic US senators. Yes, by the slimmest of margins, but it was done. Biden won the state of Georgia. A Democrat, slimmest of margins, but it was done. It would be insane for the DNC to treat Georgia as they always have, like an option. They have to be part of the battleground strategy in order to secure the presidency for Biden. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. Now, according to a March poll, this is interesting. Biden has drawn even with Trump in Michigan, 45 to 45%, Pennsylvania, 45 to 45%, and has pulled ahead of Trump in Wisconsin, 46 to 45%. In February, the Bloomberg and Morning Consult had found that Trump was up 6 points in Pennsylvania, and Trump was up 4 points in Wisconsin, and he was up 2 points in Michigan. Now, this poll in particular has an error rate of 2 to 5%, depending on the state. Now, when they did this poll last month, it had the same error rate, but Donald Trump was polling above the rate of potential error. In this poll, Biden is not. He is not polling above the potential error rate, which simply means if you have 2 numbers and they're within that 2 to 5 point differential, you might as well neutralize the poll. They are statistically tied. There's a margin of interpretation, obviously, but the margin of error betrays the poll itself. So the interpretation is this: a poll is not a prediction, it is a snapshot. Clearly, individuals who answered in the previous polling sets had a different idea about the potential presidency of Trump. And we don't see Biden merging, we see Trump going in the opposite direction. So it's not as if Biden is doing something new and refreshing in order to excite moderates, independents, et cetera. Look at the crosstabs of data. So Trump did retain leads in all of the other key states. He leads by 5 in Arizona. He still leads well outside of the margin of error in Georgia for now, 2 in Nevada, and 6 in North Carolina, 1 point outside of the margin of error, which I would call an exacting lead, assuming that the rest of the state level results from 2020 replicated themselves in 2024, given these results today, and applying this data to the relevant states on the electoral college map, because that's the only thing that counts constitutionally, Biden would prevail in 2024 if he won all 3 of the states he tied or beat Trump in, but only with 270 electoral college votes, which means Trump would have 268. If Trump pulled back ahead in any single one of the 3 states, however, he would retake the White House. Trump performed worse in every single state except for Georgia. I think some of that has to do with now Kemp, the governor who was at odds with Trump, deciding to endorse Donald Trump. He's still very popular among Republicans in the state. Trump performed worse in every single state except Georgia in March as compared to February. In the Peach State, his margin of victory increased by a single point, +6 to +7. But he previously led by 6 in Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania, 9 in North Carolina, and 4 in Wisconsin. The poll had margins of error from 3 to 5 points, depending on those states. Some of this is obviously self-inflicted by bad policies and ideology from the Republican Party. Now, given how horrific their policies actually are, Biden should be running away with this election. And the sentiment is shared in their conservative leaders. When I debated Victoria Churchill, and she was talking about the response from the State of the Union, the senator out of Alabama, and how it was choreographed and seemed, well, just fictional. She defended the message and talked about a kitchen table. Here it is.
I think that Senator Britt's message was a lot better than what we heard from Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
What was her message?
To me, the message is that we need to focus on American families that are hurting in this time. And that's not what Joe Biden talked about. Joe Biden talked about a vendetta political agenda, and that's what he's going to take into his second term, versus what Senator Britt talked about was, she was literally sitting at a kitchen table. She wants to talk about kitchen table issues. She wants to talk about food prices growing up.
What about the people that don't have kitchen tables, madam? What about folks that don't have a kitchen table?
Well, I don't think Joe Biden was speaking to them either.
No, I'm talking about the senator.
Yes.
What about people who do not have a kitchen table?
Then they need to work more and get one, because still they can achieve the American dream. I personally have worked 3 or 4 jobs for the majority of my life.
That part. You see, she's not an outlier in the Republican field. She's not some fringe leader inside of the conservative movement. She's right there in the mainstream of the ideology. They need to work more and get one. All right, Sharon, thoughts here.
She has me so rattled. Okay,
Yeah.
Another white woman entitled, like you're the only one that's working 3 jobs. It might be a luxury to even be granted employment in 3 different places at this point, okay? She couldn't really answer your kitchen table question there because she's clueless. That said, I do believe that Kemp's endorsement in Georgia is a problem. But I still, Dr. Richey, wonder if he'll do the heavy lift and appear alongside this unpredictable guy. Yeah. I was going to call him something else, but we're just the beginning of the show. I'll call him a guy. And I think you're right about Joe Biden. Given all of the nonsense that the other side has laid at our feet, ripping away abortion, the IVF, all kinds of nonsense, shrinkflation, run amok, and all the judgments, that he already owes in the criminal and civil cases. It is tough to understand why you are so barely breaking even here, if we're to believe those polls and not believe that the other guy's moonwalking backwards.
That's right. That's right. Very well said. And I want to remind people, yes, polls are not predictions, but they are people. Remember, people responded and their response was recorded. All right. So at the end of a poll is a person.